and then the 1982 state championship team for football, which we honored this season at a halftime in our football game. He also did international competition. What I mean by that is he actually put together some fundraising efforts and then took the football team down to Mexico City to play, and then another time took the women's volleyball team down to Puerto Vallarta. Is that right, Gene? Puerto Vallarta to play too. So the guy would just go anywhere for a game. He was the founder of the Desert Classic, which still goes on today, and I think we're at, that's a high school, at one time the largest high school volleyball tournament in the nation. It's still going on today, we still have it going on, it's going on for 40 plus years. But while Gino was doing that, just in this one fundraiser, he raised over $600,000 for the college. So he did a lot of work, and it all went back to athletics, and he never was selfish about it. He did a lot of work, and he gave it back. Another thing that he did, which was big pride, was he was the business manager of Wilt Big Dippers. And I kind of explained what Wilt Chamberlain did and stuff like that. But maybe afterwards you can ask Gino if that book was true about Wilt Chamberlain. Gino says that it was. So, anyway, when Wilt Chamberlain, that team went around the nation, challenged all the same, they had a record of 203 wins and 1 loss. Phenomenal for any sport.
Yes, yes.
So it just goes to tell you what kind of guy Gino is. And I'm only touching the iceberg. There's other things, and I hear there might be a book, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, I'd like to, this is just like I said, just a little bit, but I'd like to bring up Gino Mazay. Come on, Gino. Come on up. One of the greatest coaches Valley College ever had. What do you think about the white jacket?
All lies, nonsense. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, President Rodriguez, Kathy Childers, for organizing and putting on this extraordinary gathering this evening. It's really something special, no doubt about it. I also like to thank every single athlete, every coach, and every support staff member who's contributed to the mission of athletics. We would not be here tonight if it wasn't for the people I just mentioned. There's also an individual here who I call, he is the man. That is Roger Schmidt, who we honored earlier this evening. Roger devoted his retirement years to putting together probably the greatest encyclopedia, which represents the history of athletics at San Bernardino Valley College, starting in the year 1926 to the present day. It is a masterful, historical record of everyone who has taken part in athletics over those years. And Roger, again, you the man all the way in my book. I doubt very seriously if I would be here. I was really somewhat lucky to be surrounded with great women in my life. My wife, Twee, my daughters, Deborah and Paige, and Dana. They've really witnessed from a front row seat this entire journey that we've taken really over the years at Valley College. But I hope everyone here, you haven't forgotten one thing which is very important. Football's in the air, which reminds me of a story that happened not too long ago in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where this little old lady was driving across the bridge. She looked over to one side and she saw a guy ready to jump off the bridge. So she slammed on her brakes, rolls the window down, and she said, "Please, Don't jump. Think of your mom and dad. They're both dead. Well, then think of your wife. Think of your children. He said, I'm not married. Well then, think of the great Green Bay Packers. Think of Vince Lombardi. And he said, but I'm a Chicago Bear fan. I'm a Chicago Bear fan. Well, in that case, you little bastard, go ahead and jump. You know, this is not about me tonight, believe me, not about me. Let's just put everything in proper perspective. This is about the California Community College system, the greatest educational system ever devised. It is. Founded in 1921, it's comprised of 115 colleges. And as I speak today, the enrollment is $2.5 million. 2.5 million students. It is the largest educational system in the world today, and it works. So be proud of that. This is not about me. This is about Valley College, San Bernardino Valley College. It provides numerous programs for our local students to come and sharpen and improve their academic and athletic prowess. They provide programs which translate roughly into generating anywhere from 70 to 90 scholarships a year. That's the cost of college today. If you pencil this out, we're looking at roughly $2.5 million to $3.5 million a year. And when you consider the previous students who went out the previous year, and you double that figure, you can conservatively say that the athletic program at Valley College generates anywhere from $5 to $7 million a aid for the students of this area. That is something to really be proud of. By the way, Valley College was the 12th chartered community college in the state of California. It goes back to 1926.
Wow.
This is not about me, but rather it's about really the student athletes that we service and bring aboard. Story of a student named Willie Wilson. He was the first black kid. Came to us from Riverside Poly. And from Valley College, he was selected to be the first black volleyball player ever selected to the World University Games. He was the first black Olympic player to be selected for our national team. Afterwards, Willie decided to go to Europe, become a professional volleyball player. He somehow got addicted to pizza, the good-looking women. We haven't seen Willie since. That was 35 years ago, I might add. It's a story of a Turkish setter from Turkey. At the age of 16, he was a national team setter for the national Turkish team. We ended up with Ishan. Could not get into San Diego State, and they called us and said, we have an excellent prospect we'd like you to bring into your program. And when he came to Valley College, he only could speak, he had a very limited vocabulary consisting of 3 words. And that was girls, girls, and girls. Ishan, after leaving Valley College, went to UC Berkeley, where he graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering. After leaving Berkeley, he went to the East Coast and became the men's head volleyball coach at Harvard University. He is today probably one of the largest cheese importers in America. Ishan Gurdol from Turkey. It's a story of a guy named John Butler. When leaving Norton Air Force, discharged at Norton Air Force Base, came to Valley College, played football, named all conference. Interesting that he spent most of his night sleeping in the locker room with a sleeping bag. He went to the University of Illinois where he played football, and after graduation, he took an internship with the Buffalo Bills in the NFL. A few years after that, he became the youngest general manager, GM of a professional NFL team. He was the general manager when the Buffalo Bills played in 4 successive Super Bowls. He was hired by the San Diego Chargers for a measly amount of money of $11 million a year to be their general manager. Unfortunately, 6 months later, he died of lung cancer. And of course, the last, not the least, was a young kid from Colton High School that came over, took a volleyball class at Valley College, hooked onto the sport that he loved. We brought him back as the head women's volleyball coach. Has won more conference championships in that sport and number of total victories of anyone. And today is your director of athletics at the college, David Rubio. He's our man. So ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of what athletics at Valley College is all about. Tonight, when you leave, I want you to really, when you're walking out, I want you to think, whisper, and say to yourself, we are BC.